All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Leadership Blend television show with your host, Ricardo D. Rice, and we are in episode 6. Yes, 6. I feel like we just started the season 2 weeks ago, but the crew was telling me no, we didn't. But I thought we did. But in any event, we're going to roll right into something that is a hot button issue in certain spaces, guns. Now, everybody know, and I'm ashamed to say this, but I'm going to say it because I'm just going to say that. I don't own a gun. But, see, he give me that look. But it is becoming on my list. But my brother, who I live with, he carries a gun religiously, so he's been on me about getting one, and I'm considering it. So today, we have the founder of NAAGA. I'm gonna get this right. National African American Gun Association.
There it goes.
I got it right. Mr. Phillip Smith, how we doing today, sir?
Good, glad to be here, man.
It is, trust me, it's my pleasure. So we're going to look at guns and his organization and what they do and all that great stuff. So let's jump right into it.
Okay.
Tell me about you. Who is Phillip Smith?
Okay, born in Vallejo, California, Northern Cal.
Nice.
Born on what they call south side of Vallejo, blue collar, or what we call no collar. Very average upbringing, no guns involved at all.
Really?
I was chasing girls, want to be like Michael Jackson, have the big fro. That was the goal. That was the goal. That was the goal.
Y'all don't know. Now, in that day, y'all were the light skin. Y'all also have curls and all that stuff. So
yeah,
y'all also have curly kits and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was part of that debacle. for sure.
All right. So in your history, Berkeley.
Yeah, I went to UC Berkeley and UC Davis.
Okay, and you graduated with a degree in?
Double major, history and economics. Mm-hmm.
All right, what was the thought process behind that?
I'll be honest, when I was a kid, coming up in high school, the only thing I wanted to do was go to law school and go to Georgetown and be under Eleanor Norton Holmes. That was like my goal, my dream. You know, I'm a nerd by nature, so I was really focused on doing that.
So what made you major in history and economics versus political science?
I'm very Afrocentric. I like knowing about not only our history as America and globally, but specifically African Americans. So when you're a history major, you learn about everything, particularly when it comes to our community. And I took a lot of classes in African American studies, how we got here, trials and tribulations, our wins, our successes. All that was very important to me coming up, going to college.
I think that's everybody's dream. My undergrad is pre-law.
Okay.
And I was supposed to go to law school.
Yeah,
and
man.
It just didn't happen, and here we are. So that seems to be the running theme. I just thought when I read it, I was like, he majored in history and economics, and we're doing gun stuff.
Yeah, man, I was just laser focused going to law school, and then I got a bad internship with this sleazy lawyer. And I said, there's no way I want to be like that.
I mean, what kind of lawyer was he?
Body and injury.
What did you expect?
I know, I didn't know.
Ambulance, I'm sorry, an ambulance chaser, that's
I know, man. I was like, okay. And I said, no. I walked out there like this, just, I don't want to do that again. I just kept walking.
So how did you end up in Silicon Valley?
Well, after I graduated, I worked and got selected at the Bank of America junior management training program. Really hard to get into. Went through the program, and at that time, they put you out on the floor, so to speak, and give you like a department to manage or be an assistant manager. And I was over traveler checks. I hated it. I really found out that I was not a banker. And they had these daily sit-arounds. You had to sit in a circle at B of A, and had a culture that I didn't really like. And I started looking toward myself, saying, there's got to be something else I want to do out there. And I ran into a buddy that said, hey, you can go down to Silicon Valley. We'll train you. He had his own company, and you can become an HR consultant. So for about a year and a half, I went through the training, and next thing you know, I was on my own, and I was working various companies, doing startups left and right. Very stressful, but a lot of fun. San Francisco Bay Area as well as Silicon Valley area.
I'm sure it was a lot of money too.
Made good money.
I was about to say, let's not leave that out.
I did okay.
I did okay. Glaze over stuff.
All right, I did okay. Did okay.
But you have a family. You're married.
Oh yeah, married. I got my son is 29. My daughter's 22. She just graduated from Spelman. Nice. Heading to med school. My son's a computer programmer. And my wife, works for the Fed. So we're doing good. God's been blessing us, and I've been lucky so far.
So 2002, you moved to Atlanta.
My life changes.
I can only imagine, drastically.
My wife, who I met in California, is a country girl.
Oh.
And the one thing she told me, she did not want to raise our kids in California. Sat me down and I said, you sure? He goes, I just don't want to raise them out here. I want to raise them in the South. Big black churches, black families, closeness.
Oh yeah, she real country.
Yeah, she very country.
She real country.
Very country. So we came out, we picked between North Carolina and Atlanta, and we selected Atlanta. And that's when my life changed, because I came out here. Everybody has a gun. You know,
Yeah,
everybody, literally.
I've been told that. That's
Yeah, so I mean, I was sitting there working with folks that I had no idea, saying, hey, we're going to the gun range this weekend. I'm like, gun range? You got a gun? They go, yeah, I got a gun. I got a shotgun. I got a rifle, black and white. So I was like kind of challenging my experiences in California, because California is pretty much an anti-gun state. They don't say it, but they make it difficult for you to get a gun.
legislation-wise.
Legislation, you know, all the hoops you have to go through. So I came out here, and after, you know, from 2002 until 2015, I'm going through these experiences every day. Good folks that I know that have a gun. Just, you know, we talk about football, and they say, hey, oh, by the way, tomorrow I'm going to the gun range. You got a gun?
What kind of people you hang around that just hang out at gun ranges?
These are
the wrong people.
No, these are lawyers, doctors, engineers, federal workers. I mean, just normal folks.
Just
teachers.
hanging around at gun ranges.
Yeah, we go at the bar or sports bar. I like going to sports bar. I'm a big sports crazy person. And they'll be talking about whatever, and we'll talk about guns. I'm like, you know, I kept getting that aha moment. So after 13 years of that, I've seen people that I respect, and that's the most important thing I want to stress here, that they had guns, but they didn't act like the quote-unquote stereotypical person that you would associate.
Vigilante with got a gun.
Correct, vigilante or an extremist or whatever. And I'm at work on a Monday, and two of my buddies say, hey, Phil, two coworkers, not really buddies, but coworkers said, we're going to the gun range on Saturday. Why don't you come, Phil? And my first reaction was, I'm gonna go in the gun range. I don't shoot. I don't have a gun. That's not my experience. I kind of said, nah. But they literally bugged me every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And by Friday, I was like, look, bro, I'll go. I'm going to go. So Saturday morning, I was there signing the waiver forms. And I'll be honest with you, Ricardo. I had the best time of my life.
At a gun range?
At a gun range, man. I thought I was Rambo, Clint Eastwood. Man, I was shooting.
Wait, they sound like they tapped into some secret desires. Did you really want to be able to have vigilante justice?
Yeah, I think maybe deep down, I got something I was lacking. But it was fun. It was fun, man. It was cool. It was, you know, I kind of felt energized. And, you know, I'm a quiet guy for the most part.
I picked up on that.
And then I got in that position. I was like, you know what? This is cool. This is all right. And I stayed there 3 hours. I was so tired when I left. My finger was like literally sore. And I sat in the middle of the lobby and I said, you know what? If I can have this much fun as an African American with no experience, I know other members in my community can have just as much fun, but they just need a bridge to feel comfortable. So I said, let me come back one more time. I came back next week by myself this time, had a better time. And that's when a light bulb went on. I'm sitting in the middle of the lobby of the gun range, getting ready to leave, and I said, you know what? We need an organization for our people.
All right, hold that thought.
Okay.
So we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to have more with Mr. Phillip Smith on the Leadership Men television show with your host, Ricardo D. Rice. All right, so we are back with our very special guest today, Mr. Phillip Smith from NAAGA, the National African American Gun Association. See, I'm getting this thing down. We're getting this thing down. All right, so when we left, you were saying that you were realizing they needed a bridge.
Correct.
So let's pick up from there.
So I went home and, first thing I told my wife, I said, hey, I think I have an idea for a gun organization. And she literally laughed in my face. She was like, are you crazy? You don't have any gun experience?
I'm about to say, because at this point, you don't have a gun.
No, I don't have a gun. I'm total just out there by myself. She said, Phil, nobody's going to join that. You don't know anything what you're doing. I said, I think I have an idea. So I put together a little website, a little 2-pager, nothing like it is now. Now we've got like 40 pages. It's really sophisticated. But at that time, it's 3 pages. Put it together and just posted it on the internet. And I said to myself, maybe I can get 300 people for the whole year. If I get 300 people for the whole year, I can have some people to talk to and kind of get some momentum built up. But the first month, I had over 300 people. The first month.
Really?
No advertising, no marketing, just word of mouth. People were saying, there's this guy out there named Phillip Smith, and he started a black gun organization, and people just started joining.
So what was the basis? When you put up this website, what was the basis initially for this organization?
I wanted a place where we could come to first culturally. That's the important part. Because everybody shoots the gun pretty much the same. The same rules are in place from a technical standpoint. But culturally, we don't have an organization that speaks to our experience in this country. And if you look at our website, we talk about Buffalo Soldiers, we talk about Tuskegee Airmen, we talk about Harriet Tubman, we talk about Nat Turner, African Americans and organizations, including the Defense Defense and more, that have fought and died for us utilizing the firearm. So I wanted to make that connection directly and indirectly. So as someone's reading it, they're saying, oh, okay, there's the Deacons of Defense. Those are good guys, quote unquote. They use the gun to protect black voters in Louisiana against the Klan. Oh, the Buffalo Soldiers, those are good guys. They fought for the country. Okay, these are Harlem Hellfighters. They went overseas when they couldn't get recognized by Americans and fought and got recognized in France and did very, very good. Those are good guys. So I wanted stories that resonated here.
So let me ask, so is it kind of because this new thing has become like cigar rooms for black men. Is it kind of that kind of ideology? It's a space where gun is a common denominator,
Correct.
But we do all these
other things around it.
That
I thought that would be the initial attraction. And I'll get to answer that question in just one second. So as these people are joining and they're looking at the reasons why, I'm looking at the reasons why they're joining, I'm seeing different kinds of folks, attorneys, unemployed, teachers, nurses, military, all these different kinds of folks joining the organization. The part that was the catch was that they had a place that they can be black and be comfortable. We're not going to demonize you because you didn't vote some other way that most folks that are gun advocates. You can be who you want to be. And that was the key. So when that took place, we could start seeing this wedge and mass of people joining the organization. Now, the part to answer your question was most surprising to me. The first 3 years of the organization, we were 65% African-American women.
You beat me to the punch. I was going to ask you, because I was like, how is this 60% women?
Women, black women were outpacing black men and others 60% to 40 or more. And that was something that just, I sat there and talked to my wife, and she was like, look, Phillip, a lot of black women are single, a lot of black women professionals. They're not waiting for somebody on a great white horse to come in and save them. They're getting a gun and take care of their business right then and there.
That's true.
And then that's when I said, okay, that makes sense. And that's what's happening again and again across the country in different houses, different neighborhoods, and different cities.
So do y'all have like meetups where y'all get together at a certain gun range, and how does this work?
Right now we have over 130 chapters nationwide.
I saw that.
We have members in every state of the union. Typically for each chapter, I'll give you an example like Bass Reeves here in Atlanta. They meet the third Saturday of each month from 10 to 1. All the meetings are formatted the same across the country. 10 o'clock to 1, you get together, you shoot, you have a theme, you practice, you talk about a particular issue. It might be muzzle management, it might be, do you need a shotgun at home to protect yourself? Whatever the theme is, the chapters decide on that. And they shoot typically 10 to 1. After that, you go out, have pizza, hot dogs together, talk. And that's where the real NAAGA happens to me, because that's when you can talk about the issues that are important to you and to the African American community. When you sit down and you can just relax and say, you know what, I got a gun, but this other stuff is bothering me over here, like Ahmaud Arbery, or, I'm tired of brothers being, harassed, or what's happening to our community, or why don't we have voting rights, or why are we not using our influence enough to have a voting block or an economic block. So we have real conversations. Now, if somebody wants to talk about who they voted for, you're more than welcome, but you don't have to. And that's the key. We are a Big Ten organization. We have a saying, it goes the following. You can believe, we agree to disagree, but not disconnect. And that simply means, if you come to me and say, Phillip, I just don't think black folks have guns. I just think it's a bad move. I think it's just something we shouldn't be doing. My initial reaction is not to start yelling back at you and say, how dare you? I tell all of my folks to sit back and listen and say, okay, I'm gonna ask you one question, Ricardo. How did you come to that decision today? Give me your life journey to come to this point where you and I are having this conversation. What prompted you to say, you know what, I just don't think blacks having guns are a good thing? Or you might say, I just don't think we should open carry. You should not carry an AR rifle into Macy's or Kroger's. And I say, okay, how'd you come to that decision? I really push conversation. I push the fact that as African Americans, we have enough issues as it is.
Facts.
We have to get together under this umbrella. Call it what you want, but we have to come together and push each other and help each other out, as opposed to sitting there saying, you know what? I don't like what you're saying. I don't like who you voted for. I don't like who you're backing politically. We don't have time for that, me personally. And our organization allows you to come in, say what you want, do what you want, and we're gonna give you a high five, we're gonna love you, and we're gonna embrace you. And that's why people join, and that's why the numbers, we're averaging over 1,000 new members every month. That's a lot of folks.
That's a lot of folks.
That's a lot of folks in different parts of the country that don't know each other. So that means the same conversations are going on with different people that don't know each other in different parts of the country, and they're all saying different stuff. I'm joining because I almost got robbed. I'm joining because I like to hunt. I'm joining because I think we need to adjust the way we protect ourselves at home. All those conversations really produce an organization that's organic, that's vibrant, robust. It makes you think. We're just not out there shooting guns and, and doing all this crazy stuff. That's not what we're about at all.
All right, so we're going to take our next break, and when we come back, we're going to have more with Mr. Phillip Smith on the Leadership in Television Show with your host, Ricardo D. Rice. All right, we are back with this week's guest, Mr. Phillip Smith, and we're talking about guns. Now, again, y'all know how I feel about guns. I don't hate them, I don't love them, I'm indifferent.
Gotcha.
But I think secretly he's trying to sway me with this good information from his organization, and it might work. I'm not really sure. It might work. So, I asked you this before we started. How do you manage to not get political, especially as it pertains to African American males and guns?
It's probably one of the most difficult conversations we have, other than us buying land, to be very honest with you. It's incredibly hard to not get political when you have folks that are pulling you saying, you need to address this, Phillip, specifically a politician. So what we've done is take up a very tough position, and it is tough.
I can only imagine.
To say, we're not going to back politicians, but we will back policy as it relates to the Second Amendment and African Americans being attacked or victimized through the use of firearms. We will speak out on that very, very proactively and aggressively in some cases. It's tough. We get in constant discussions, arguments.
I was about to say, you were being mild. I'm being
politically sensitive here. And this is folks in my own group saying, hey, Phillip, you need to do this, this, and this. And I say, well, I can't do that. But what I can do is speak to the essence of the organization, the ethos, which is African Americans learning how to protect themselves, learning how to protect their communities. If you can't protect your community, you're in trouble. And that's why in so many cases across the country, we're having the issues that we're having as African Americans. So we talk about those things, and they are tough conversations, sometimes a little yelling. We hug each other and love each other afterward, but it's a little tense. I'm
about to say,
I'm gonna get a drink. So, but we're not a political animal. We're not built to be a political animal. We're built to be an organization that focuses on training and safety, and more training and more safety and more training. And we also talk about gun laws. Something I failed to admit or tell you is that we have an emphasis on what we call the Black History of Arms. And the Black History of Arms is a process everyone that comes to NAAGA goes through what we call the NMOC, New Members Orientation Class. And in that class, they learn about the heroes and sheroes of our organization, our community. And they're very, very open to discussion during that time. It's like a 2-hour course that every member goes through. So if you go to a member of NAAGA on the street and say, hey, do you know about Harriet Tubman? They'll speak to it, but they'll speak to it in a very in-depth manner, saying she utilized a shotgun, but it was used to liberate our community through slavery and overcoming slavery. We'll talk about Nat Turner. We'll talk about the Deacons of Defense. We'll talk about all those folks that have literally came and said, you know what, I'm going to use this weapon here to liberate us because we're going through some type of challenge. And I think that's a very, very good thing. And that separates us from any other gun organization in the world, in that we have a cultural connection that we loop in. It's just not about holding your gun and having the right muzzle management.
I was like, well, they probably get together and just shoot squirrels and deers and stuff, which I'm from the country, so I can appreciate that. Shouts out to my cousins who love deer hunting. Right. I can appreciate that, so I figured that, I've learned something completely different. That's not what y'all do. All right, so how do you wrangle a vision that takes off like yours did? Because it literally took off until you have all these over 100-something chapters in different things. How do you continue to wrangle that? Like, make sure the vision isn't convoluted as it spreads.
Well, in 2017, I had to take a step back, and you make a great point, a great question. How do you manage this? So first of all, we are recognized as a 501c4 legally. We have a regional directors. We have a board of directors now. We have chapter presidents in each of those areas that we have chapters that run the chapters. They're vetted. They're gone through a background check. All of our presidents are vetted and screened to utilize a certain image that we're trying to push on the membership, and we're very, very deliberate about it. This is not this wild shoot 'em up cowboy era. We're not into that.
Vigilante justice, Phillip. That's what we're called. That's what we call it. Vigilante.
No. But we're very, very strategic about that, and I think we've had success because we are strategic. We have some of the most brilliant people in the country that are involved in our organization. We have former DA who's running our legal counsel, Nazita Davis, who used to be the lead, let me get this right, the lead federal prosecutor for the state of Georgia.
Oh, wow.
She's our legal counsel. She has revamped our whole 501c4 and trademark copyright division. It's world class. It'll hold up against anybody. Google, Home Depot, you name it. It is incredible. We have folks that are database administrators, attorneys that have said, Phil, I'm going to volunteer our services for you and for the organization. And what the end result is that we have an organization that is what I call best in class. We can stand up to anybody, and I mean anybody, for what we're trying to do, the structure, the delivery. My old days in Silicon Valley come back as far as how to put organizations together.
I was thinking, like, you've seen some things.
I have. And I know how to make that work when it comes to our community because I care about us. I'm very, as I said before, I'm very Afrocentric. I believe in us, not to diminish anyone else's existence, but I'm focused, laser focused on the African American experience in this country, in this city, and globally. And I think it's very, very important that we kind of stick to that, and that's what we're very, very good at doing.
All right, so we're going to take our last break, and when we come back, we're going to find out more about Mr. Smith. I like that from The Matrix, Mr. Smith.
There you go.
Mr.
There you
Smith
go.
when we come back, so stick around. All right, so we are back with Mr. Smith on the Leadership and Television Show. All right, so when we left, you were saying, I'm really baffled by this 60% black women. But there's something that you want to say for black women.
I think the most surprising thing, now the dynamic has changed a little bit, but the thing I'm most impressed with when it comes to black women is that they are independent, they're strong, they come in numbers. They tell their girlfriends, and their girlfriends tell their girlfriends, and they're coming in 15, 20 at a time, which is incredible. It's something that really, as my wife said, my old chauvinist self got a surprise, and I did. I mean, I thought it'd be mostly for the brothers, but you have a lot of women that are trainers now. They have women that are chapter presidents. They're on our leadership team. They're on our board of directors. They're regional directors. They're very, very aggressive, and they know what they're doing. And I'm very, very proud of that fact that's happened through NAAGA, and I've been able to witness that. So it's been very good.
Shouts out to the black women, always holding it down.
Oh yeah, they most definitely.
Always hold it down. All right, so
definitely.
Membership and what does it look like? Tell me about that for people that may be interested after hearing this.
Right now, membership is about 42,000 members. We have, as I said, 1,000 members new every month joining on average, sometime more, sometime less. If someone wants to join, go to www.naaga.co, not .com.co. Click on membership. But before you join, read about the organization. I don't want somebody just to join and not know who we are. Find out what we believe, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish. Know that we are here for the betterment of our community. We want black people safe, and that's what we focus on. So definitely look at the website, and hopefully they'll get a chance to join.
Okay, well, I'm going to kick you because I could barely find anything on you on social media.
Correct.
Like, what is that about? What is that about?
You know, I'm an old school guy, and social media has been something I gotta get.
I'm gonna need you to ramp that up.
Yeah,
now,
I know.
Say I was able to find a lot of interviews.
Yes.
But as far as like everyday
my Instagram,
social media, I was I cannot even LinkedIn.
I know.
I can't even find him on LinkedIn.
I know.
You're fired.
Thank you. All right. That's it.
You're fired.
Okay.
How do people get in touch with you?
Go to membership.support@naaga.co. Email that, and I'll say it again: membership.support@naaga.co. And all the information goes to my folks, and they'll take it and they'll deliver it to me. There's a direct question.
Fine.
So did that convince you? Maybe no. Couple more interviews.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably leaning towards a 7.
You're kidding me.
I'm leaning towards a 7.
I'm surprised I got 7.
I didn't say a strong 7, but I didn't say a strong 7.
It was barely a 7.
Yeah, you know, it's not a 6.5, but it's not really a 7.
Okay, all right.
Like a 6.9.
We're teetering in there.
Yeah, you know, it's like a 6.9, which is good because everybody knows it takes a lot to move my needle.
Okay.
So a 6.9, you winning.
But you came in at 4.
I did. Actually, I came in like a 3.5.
Okay.
If you want me to say I came in like a 3.5.
We doubled our interest here.
Yeah, you know, you did a lot of recon on that.
Okay.
You did a good job on that.
Good
one.
job.
Any final thoughts you want to leave with the people?
No, just thank you. Thank you for the time to talk to you. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while. And anybody that wants to join the organization, please join the organization. We'd love to have you. And if you have any questions, even if you don't have a gun, and you want to join, they're more than welcome also.
Y'all got a gun I can borrow?
Yes, we do.
Oh, well, I might join that because I don't have no gun. But if I got one I can borrow, then we can talk about that.
Ricardo, I think you're trying to be a little cheap here.
You also said that off air.
Okay.
You also said that off air.
All right.
I mean, actually, guns are pretty expensive. I didn't know they.
Oh, yeah, $400 or $500.
Yeah, I didn't know they cost like that.
Oh yeah, and then that's just the beginner guns. We're talking like high-end stuff, $2,000-$3,000 easy.
Yeah, then I am trying to be cheap. Now, since you put it like that, then yeah, I am trying to be cheap. So we will go with that. All right, everybody. So there you have it, Mr. Phillip Smith from NAAGA, the National African American Gun Association. I've been getting that. I've been killing it all day. I'm so proud of myself. And y'all heard how to get in touch with him, how to reach him. He has a very passionate organization. I love it. I love what you stand for. I love what you said today. And yeah, you can watch this episode next Monday, actually on Image of a Man Network at 5 p.m. and also at our YouTube channel at the Leadership Blend Television Show. But all that'll be on the website, which you can check out at ricecommunity.com. That's Rice with a W, W-R-I-C-E community.com. And we will see you same time, same place on the Leadership Blend Television Show with your host, Ricardo D. Rice.